Good afternoon, LinkedIn. Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to our first ever episode of Startup Diaries. Guys, when we think of a startup, we always talk about the unicorns like Byju's or Zepto or Zerodha. But before becoming a unicorn, there are multiple stages that a startup founder and his team or her team has to go through. Idea stage, validation stage, startup stage, growth stage, scale up. All of this requires a lot of strength. To start a startup requires a lot of courage. And we at Busy Talks are here to salute all these startup founders. To begin with our first episode, we invite one such founder, Miss Vidushi. Hi, Vidushi.
Hello, hi. How is everyone doing? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also very good. Yeah, doing well.
Welcome to our first episode of Startup Founders, and we are so glad to start this episode of Startup Diaries with you and learn more about our entrepreneurial journey through your experiences. So, Vidushi, let's start with a bit of introduction of what you do and what is your business about.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, while I was hearing you introduce Busy Talks, so what I think this is a wonderful platform that you've started and you're doing this. Like as you mentioned that before becoming something very big and very successful and everyone's talking about you, there's a long journey that's there. And when you're just starting out and you're into it like 6 months, a year or two, then each day feels
Hmm,
like there are like so many doubts whether this will work
hmm,
not. There's some
hmm,
successes, some like like small moments that are there. So and usually people don't talk about that. At least you always see the 1 0 to 1 or 0 to the 100th step of it, not
hmm,
the the 0 to 1 journey and each day that's there. So I'm very glad that you started this, and I'm very happy to be a part of the first episode that we're doing. So I'll talk a bit about myself. I'm Vidushi Rajoria. I am I live in Delhi, and here I'm an engineer. I've done my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. Post that, I worked with Honasa for a few years, which is now an unicorn, not just an unicorn, but like a publicly listed company. So there,
hmm, hmm,
I worked in launching new brands. From there, like when I was working in like I finished college and I was working with this big like startup and like this whole corporate world. One thing that I saw there was that like women or like young parents, like people who are in their 30s, everyone is at a point of time in their life where their careers are just like progressing and there's so much to do. And like in terms of going to each and attending each and every meeting and everything. But there's another, along with that, there's a journey that's going on, which is about like most of people get married at this time, like, and then they have
hmm,
kids,
hmm,
and then the parenthood also starts. So balancing both. And how do you do it? Like you have kids, and of course, like human kids like under the age of 10, and they require human interference all the time, like and if you're, so how do you balance it? Do you like not go to office? Or even if you're working remotely, you have your meetings, you have your full work, so do you take care of the child at that point of time? So you need help, you need support. So over the years, earlier people were very like families were blessed that everyone was living together and there was like a lot of support from grandparents and other close relatives. But today most of the families are nuclear. Everyone has moved from their hometown, they've moved to more like Delhi, NCR, Gurgaon, Noida here. And there's so you need daycare facilities, you need like schools for early childhood education. So this is where, I realized that, this is something that's a need of the society, and something that I care about also. So hence, along with my mom, we started this journey, that we have our early learning centers, daycare centers, where there is a, like, learning classes, preschools as well, and of course full daycare. And we want to create like centers that are very flexible also, that cater to each and every family's need. So yes, so we built Little Cambridge Early Learning Centers. We
Hmm.
have two
Hmm.
in Delhi. We're opening one in Noida, which is just like next week, which will be up and running. So that's about me.
Great, great. So we obviously understand what inspired you or what drove you to the business. But how did you go about validating your idea? I'm sure you must have faced a lot of, pushback from the competition, a lot of pushback from the parents. How did you ensure that your idea is suiting the needs of the today's parents?
Okay. So initially, when I started, I was still working at Honasa, and I used to just see this everywhere around me. Like, in fact, like the person that I used to work with, she also has a child, and also slowly, I started realizing that this is there. So then I started, the first thing that you do is, and the best way to go about it is market research. You start talking to your actual, no, and not just market research in terms of the data that you find over by doing secondary research using, the internet, but also that talking to your real customers or potential people that, you see that, this person might benefit from the service or the product that I'm trying to provide. So that is how, I started. So, like, talking to parents, like I reached out everyone that in my family that,
Hmm.
has have kids under 10 years of age. And then, I spoke to them, and then, speaking to them, then I told them, can you, like, please like refer that my number, like share a few numbers of people that, you may know, that who have kids this age group, so that I can talk to them. So I spoke to, like, about, I think, about like 40, 50 odd couples, that, how are you managing, and what do you, and what. So this was there. So this first I started doing with, younger kids. Then I also spoke to parents who have kids older, like 15, 16 years. So what did you do, like what happened when your kids were younger? So I just wanted to understand how has the industry progressed in the last
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
15 years or so. And then also keep talking to, like, very young, like, people, who just got married. So, what is your plan, like how do you, like, think about this whole industry, and have you ever thought about, like, what will you do? So these kind of conversations, conversations with real people, which is basically the consumer research that you do, I think one that is very important. So I did that. Overall with this, when you say that about competition, etc., so yes, there are daycare centers, etc., that are there. But like, in a few ones, I would say yes, they're doing well also. But then they again, like, what I realized after talking to a lot of people was also basically the quality control, like quality in terms of the infrastructure, safety, and also like the type of caregivers that these centers usually hire. So that is something, like, about this, the two aspects were lagging. Like, one was the infrastructure, because, maintaining physical places is a bit is not that easy. It's like, every day, like, a child requires this much space, it has to be ventilated properly, the right amount of
Hmm.
sunlight, and these kind of things. So this was not being maintained in a lot of daycare centers today also. And the other thing is the type of staff that they hire. So this was
Hmm.
some things that came out. Then other than that, like, well, so the competitive benchmarking, market research, this combination only, was
Hmm.
there.
Hmm. Hmm. So give us more details of what insights you got from your customers, the parents, and what did you adapt? What kind of feedback did you adapt into making your own daycare centers?
Yeah, so like as I was mentioning, um, you know, things like this, the infrastructure, like when these people spoke about this, said ki, like, there are a lot of, because something that parents prefer is something that's easily accessible and close either to their like office or either to their house. Like these are the
Okay.
two
Hmm.
preferenced areas. So usually a lot of, like in office areas or residential areas, a lot of daycare centers do sprout up, but the space, like, is not enough. But then they don't have any options, so parents just go for it. Like there's no open spaces for kids to play. There were things like that came up. Then there were like sunlight, ventilation. Usually a lot of them are there in basements, so
Hmm.
there was, so this was one of the challenge. Then then parents spoke about the type of quality of the caregivers. Are they police verified? Are they, where have they studied? Because kids are going to spend, like, the studies that have proven that about 90% of the brain development for a child takes place before the age of 5. So
Hmm.
if my child is spending so much time with a teacher or a caregiver, are they educated enough? How are they talking? Like, basic basic etiquettes, manners. The children will grasp whatever they are hearing each and every day. So these kind of things. So these two things we focused a lot on: the type of property that we are choosing to open our center and the type of staff that we are hiring. So these two things we are focusing on, that I straight away got from those calls, that when I spoke to the parents. Yeah.
Do you face kind of a challenge, that the parents come up with some vague requirements? Just to give an example, if some parents comes to you and says that my child should learn only this language and not any other language, happens, because parents want their kids to learn their mother tongue and something like that.
See, when you say this, yes, I would know. Parents definitely, some of them are very finicky. Yeah, that's true. And not in terms of what kind of language they want to, like, they mostly it's English. Everyone is like, so if the their mother tongue, usually children will pick up at home also. The only primary focus in India for all parents is that my child should only converse in English. So because of that,
Hmm.
yes, like I said, the type of nannies that we hire, teachers, definitely they are equipped, they know English, etc. But nannies, we put in a lot of effort to train them in the English language, like the basic commands, etc. That small things, like it'll just sound very small, but things like, do you want to go to the washroom, or do you want water? So these type of, like, the sentences, etc., we teach our nannies. So parents mostly want that.
Hmm. Okay, that works. Okay. Okay. So Vidushi, let's talk about how did you pivot your first center? I'm sure, having your first center, having your first product out in the market is a lot of fun and gives you a lot of butterflies in your heart. So tell us more about that experience.
Okay, so the first center that we started was in Jasola, which is in Delhi, South Delhi. So how we chose that location was, see, after, like, which is same till today also. Whenever we choose any of our center location, is that looking at the demographics,
Hmm.
like, are there societies around, are there younger parents around, like nuclear families like, are there, or are there like bungalows, etc., big, like, because when there are bungalows or single plots, etc., there, like, larger families are staying, who may have support from their grandparents, etc. So one is that understanding your demographic, like, are there societies, smaller, one bedroom, two bedroom flats? So these kind of things we study, because there would be need. Then so this was one thing that we saw. And of course, like, what other are there, other schools, are there other daycare centers, what are there, what kind of competition is there. So then when we chose our first one, so this was a thickly populated, densely populated area where there were societies, DDA, lot of DDA flats, etc. So these were the kind of things that we saw, because in Delhi, anyway, there are very less societies, there's not much of that concept. So but in like this first area there were lots. So and we did see a gap there. And other than that, see, this is one thing that's important. The other thing that's also important, like when I say the type of property also, so in Delhi there's a lot of
Hmm.
crunch for this also space. Like, I would, like, just now just say, okay, we need a property which has like 5 classrooms and a big playground outside, a big hall. But things like these are not available that easily in Delhi. So actually, to finding that, so it's a overall combination. So this is something that we found in Jasola there. There were big 2 floors and a basement and a garden outside. So I think we got lucky, like it overall worked. Or so then that's how we went about it in choosing the first one.
Okay. And then was the furniture decided by you, or did it all come with the property?
No, 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 nothing came with the property. So that's another thing. So these properties, mostly all of them are either designed for mostly for residential purposes or for
Okay.
office, maybe. Nothing comes with it. In fact, we have to get everything done, to understand that, like for kids, like what kind of furniture has to be bought, or what kind of
Hmm.
wall colors, what kind of decor, what kind of play area, what kind of, the type of flooring. Do you have to go for vinyl flooring or wooden flooring? Lot of things go, and especially, with kids, some it's like you want to create beautiful, bright, colorful
Yeah.
spaces also
Yeah.
for them. But you
Hmm.
also have to take in extra care about, the safety protocols that are there, because you cannot have furniture which has like a sharp finish, or like, baby proofing. Basically the whole place has to be baby proof. So each and every, like the door, the hinges, etc., you need to put like foam, etc., get like, completely baby proofed. So that was supposed to be done. Then in the washrooms, you cannot have the usual, the commode and sink. You get the, yeah, the small ones fitted, and that and so there are a lot of small things that go into it. Like, you have to get an indoor play area made. Like today we have like these huge soft play areas that is constructed in our basement, because, although yes, outdoor play is very important, we do have an outdoor play area. But the fact that, in Delhi the weather is so unpredictable, and there's like, there's so much pollution, there is so much this, that, kids, it's better that, at least like during the pollution hours, the hot hours, they play inside. Evenings we recommend, the parents, you take your child out to the park for outdoor play, but in the school timings we mostly keep them inside. So there are a lot of things that, have to be there, like you said. So each and everything we do, and then, so this is like something which was very new to me, that, dealing with labor,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
like from painters to carpenters to, small like electrician, plumber, and then, talking to them, making them also understand. Because usually, I'm not like of course they know their work, they know very properly.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
this, everyone has like this fixed set of notion कि ये हम ऐसे करते हैं. Like मैं उनको बताऊंगी कि आप ये ऐसे से बनाना, हाँ ये तो हम घरों में ऐसे करके आते हैं. So that is how, they'll do it. And then you have to just make them understand, नहीं, this has to be done from a kid's point of view. आपको यहाँ पे इसको गोल्ड ही करना पड़ेगा. आपको जैसे भी, I do not want sharp edges, or I do not want this. So making them understand, that's one thing. So that was
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
that I dealt with. Then, of course, like I'll just bring this up here only. It's bootstrapped. So, creating a space which is, like, it's because it's a very, it's a physical place. So there, the expenses are accordingly, but you cannot compromise on the quality or the
The
safety.
quality. Yeah.
So making them understand कि like आपको ये बनाना है, and then negotiating with them. So yeah, these kind of things were there, which was the first time for me. But now I'm on my third center, so now things, I won't say that they've become easier or anything. I'm just used to it, like the kind of negotiations and on what level I have to start to tell people.
So, are you at a stage where you can like have a fixed design setup for your properties that if this is the size of the property, then this would be my design, and if this is the size of the property, then this would be my design. Have you like standardized it for all your centers?
So, see the the things that we will put, like we need to have a stage area or a soft play area, the classrooms, the kind of table and chairs that we need, like on that particular design, or the reception. Those things, yes, we have standardized. It's because we've realized also, okay, what kind of thing worked and what didn't work, so that we replicate the playbook
Hmm.
we have started to make. But also it also really depends on the space that you get, because here it's very hard to, like I said, that finding the right property is not that easy. So once we so whatever suits our needs the best, we have to adapt everything
Correct.
accordingly.
Hmm.
So, but we do, when we're looking for the property, we look at it from that point of view only, like because now we have certain things set in our head that we'll want this bigger classroom, because the furniture has to be like this many teachers, the boards need to be fixed on a lower height, etc. That when we're looking for the property, etc., then only we do, but it does have to be molded accordingly.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. Got it. Okay, so Vidushi, let's talk about the finances. You already mentioned that it's a bootstrapped company, and I'm sure putting in your own savings into your business requires a lot of courage. Did you face kind of a pushback from your family or any pushback from your friends, or did they support you when you were putting in your money into the business?
See, there are always it's always a mixed bag, I think,
Hmm.
in terms of my family. So, like to be it's like my father also has his own business. My brother also does his own
Okay,
business, so that way they know what goes into it.
right.
And because they know what goes into it, they were like, why do you want to do it? Like, it is that it is hard. It's very hard.
It
You
is.
have a good job and at a very good company, and a job that you enjoy also. It like, so why do you want to then go about this? So that was there. So it wasn't like they were not it was not a very hard pushback, but yes, they did place a lot of thoughts in me that, like, why, like, do you want to do it? Like, because what you're doing now is also good, and you can keep continuing with it. You will like, why do you want to face so much hardships? And of course, like, in
Hmm.
terms of money also, right? Like, whatever savings, etc., that you have, and like, taking so much burden on yourself, like, why do you want to go through it that way? They place these thoughts in me, which sometimes do come to me also now. That like, all the time it's there, like, and like doing like, sometimes, when you feel low or something doesn't go your way, then it does come into your head that, why are you like doing this, and why have you why chosen this? But okay, like, ultimately what I told them, and what comes in my head is this only, that this is something that, of course, I want to build a financially sound like business also, but it's something that's creating a positive impact also on the society. And in generally, I'm a very like patient person, like, I would say, like, it comes to me from inside, like, I'm a caring patient person, like, in generally, not in just terms of kids, like, basically I really enjoy working with kids,
mm,
being with
mm,
kids. And I think I do have the patience that requires to handle, like, kids in generally. Like, before that I was doing this, like, there also. So that way, like, overall, it makes sense for me. So that was
mm,
the call that I had taken that time. And in terms of, friends, so friends also, it's a mixed bag. But, being like, I'm a little young right now, so my friends also are also in their different journeys, so they don't have much to say about this, to be honestly, because some, they themselves,
mm,
some are still
mm.
studying, some are like doing like the job switching, etc. So they, everyone is in their growth phase only right now. So they didn't have much to say to it.
Good, good. That's positive. So in future, do you wish to like approach investors and raise some money and then expand, or you would keep it a bootstrap model?
See, currently we're bootstrapped and we're okay with it. Maybe in time, with time, can we can get investors on board, but that's a call that, I will take when I decide that what kind of level of expansion, see, I want to do. So see, right now, like, I'm on, we have three centers. And, initially when I started this, I thought it'll be a very quick, this thing that we
Turn
will keep
around, yeah.
expanding, yeah, and
Mm,
everything. But to be honest, like, this quality control that you have to do, because, you're directly dealing with kids, and it's not a product that you just ship home. And, if it's not done,
right.
like, there would just be a random customer complaint. And, I mean, I know that that whole journey also has its own set of pros and cons and everything. But here, if something goes wrong, God forbid, the parent, it's a child, something like, it's a live human being, where something, God forbid, will
Yeah,
goes wrong, and the parent, the whole family, the police, everything will straight away walk into your center, and you will be sitting right there. So, quality control is very important. Being
very
safe,
important.
secure
Mm,
is very
mm,
important. So till the time I don't, like, if for our each center, till the time we don't feel that, now this is completely set, we are maintaining a decent quality, we are, it is safe, it is secure, then, it's so, then only we will expand to our next one. So because, I don't want to just like start a center and then just not make it work. So, when I feel that there's a time that, now, like, I have, like, we've reached 4 or 5, and then, post now, I feel that I can, like, expand rapidly. Because when you get investors on board, they have certain expectations, they
yeah.
want those
Mm,
certain numbers. And to, to be able to like, and match them and get them, then that's a different kind of pressure. So that when you, so when I feel like when I'll be ready to take that, then I'll probably go there. Right now I need to establish, these two, and also understand that how, if I want to move from 5 to 10 centers, how in each of them I will be able to maintain quality and security of these. So, it's a call that I will take maybe in some time, but not for right now.
mm, mm. So in terms of competition, Vidushi, where do you see your standpoint? There are multiple competitors who are running these franchise model. We talk about Eurokids, or there is, Podar, Jumbo Kids. So they are expanding rapidly,
Yes.
and although they have a set parameter of the franchisee, and the franchisee would give some royalty fee to these, to the centers or to the centers. Um, don't you think that because of this you would lose the market, or you would still want to take it in a very patient manner? Do you want to opt for a franchise model, or not go for a franchise model and make it only company owned model?
See, when you move in really fast, and the chances of falling are also that fast. That's something that I believe in. So,
Hmm.
these franchise models, it works well. See, it works well for, I think, restaurants and businesses where, there's less human intervention, I would say. Like, in restaurants, I would say, franchise model will work, because they will provide you the exact set of machinery. They will tell you the exact temperature when the french fries need to be put in it, and they will come out, and
With
this
you
is the
itself.
exact packaging you put and you give. So there also, you sometimes we say that, this same restaurant, this one is good, but the one that's opened here is not good, although they are the same brand. There also we are able to make a differentiate we are able to differentiate
Yeah.
in the food. But when there is so much human intervention, okay, so when these franchise model in terms of preschools and daycares are there, they would tell you that how you have to do your space. But ultimately, the type of teachers that you will have hire, the type of caregivers that you hire, that's very important. That is actually the key. So
Hmm.
that way, I feel that where there is human intervention involved, is then growing with franchise, etc., is not the ideal way to go about it. Maybe that's because I come from a background where I understand education, and how important it is, that what kind of role teachers play in your life. That it's not just that it's a daycare, like you just send your kid and you take back your kid. So the type of caregiver that's there. So if so in I won't say that, like, these the franchise owners who purchase the franchise, if they come from an educational background and they are understanding the type of staff you have to hire, the standards that you have to maintain, then yes, maybe those kind of they work. But lot of times I've seen that, especially in Delhi, that in Saudi, like in my area, hardly there are franchise model preschools left, like very few. um,
Okay.
Other than that, there are all standalones that are doing well, or there are companies that are company owned, company operated, that are working, because maintaining quality is something. And in fact, like, I've also, like, I don't know if I mean, I should take the name or not, but, like, there's this huge big chain that was there, which is synonymous to preschools, but the schools have shut now. This was so, like, and like, hardly there are Delhi, like, two three they have their franchises that are left. Um, so and that all just happened because they sold so many franchises to all kinds of people. And when I say all kinds of people, I mean people who don't come from educational background, who don't understand that how you have to run it. And then ultimately it just becomes that you have to do admissions, and and by hook or by crook you give, like, 20,000 off, you give 50% fees, and this that, and then they take the kids,
Hmm.
but they don't know how to run. And to be honest, all of them are in rented properties, so the
Hmm.
rents are very high. You cannot, I mean, to run it properly, and by if you give like too much discount on fees also, then how will you actually run it? So like, and franchise models also, I've also seen that there are a lot of people side business, that they have certain amount of money with them, so then they're like, either we can open something, and then they take it. But it's not that easy to sustain. Like, I mean, there are very few, like, a lot of standalone preschools and daycares I know, where people are running with their full passion, and since they've been running since 10 years, 15 years, there lots of them. But there are very few franchises based preschools that have, I can say that, this in one particular property that they've been running since 20 years. They keep selling, like, they keep opening,
Hmm.
they keep going, they keep opening, they keep going. That's majorly what
Hmm.
I have.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, so when you spoke about the sustainability of the business, let's talk about how daycare makes profit. Okay, so what kind of rental do you expect? What kind of revenue should you generate, and what is the profitability that comes at the end of the month? If you can share some light on that.
Okay. So, like, first of all, it depends. Let's start with the fees that you're charging. We can move backwards from that.
Sure.
So, the type of fees that you will charge, it depends on where, the demographics, and what kind of place that you're opening. What is the affordability of the parents? So that
Hmm.
is one thing that you decide on. Okay, this is the amount of fees that I'll be able to take. say, like whatever average you can take, like, 7,000, 8,000 a month. Like this is maybe like for a place that you're charging. Then
Six,
you'll
seven
look.
thousand is for 8 hours.
Yeah, it also, yeah, average you can say. I mean, it depends on the age
Okay.
of the child and the facilities,
Okay.
but yeah, you can say that like for 6, 7 hours,
Noted.
probably 8 hours.
Noted.
Yeah. So then, you're charging this. Then you see that, okay, so this is my fees, this is the average amount of number of kids that will be there. So this is the amount that I'll generate. Then you'll have to see your staff salaries that will go, and your running cost, etc., that this will go. Then is your rent. So then when you're looking for your property, so the amount, average rents, so that also depends on location to location. Like in Delhi, for a 4 bedroom ground floor, like just one floor, easily the rents are from 1.5 to 2 lakhs straight away. And for a commercial place, residential it's lesser, but for this it's around 1.5 2 lakhs easy, like it goes. And
Mm.
then the your electricity will be on commercial basis, everything will be, so the electricity bill will be your 3x. So easily like a 10 to 20K electricity bill will be there, especially in the summer months, which is basically all the time in Delhi. Hardly 2 3 months are not. So all these kind of things, in staff salary, again, the type of teachers you want to hire. If you want good people, of course the salaries will be higher. Another big issue in generally in teaching in India is the salaries are very low of teachers, and especially in primary, pre-prime, in generally, like at school level also, it's not like for K-12 schools also teachers are not paid much, but in pre-primary, primary teachers are not paid also much. So they're sad, but and for if you and but if you don't offer a good salary, then they will not stick with you, because this is also their attrition rate is very high. And especially, and the worst thing is that in pre-primary, you require teachers to stick, because they're young children, they get attached to someone. So you don't want them to leave also, so you have to compensate them. So overall, 1.5 2 lakhs for a floor is your rent. Then about 1.5 1.5 lakhs to 2 is your salaries that go. So about, like, you have running costs for like a floor,
Three
or
lakhs
like
to 4 lakhs.
three
Mm.
3 to 4 lakhs is your running cost, like every month. Then of course, then accordingly the fees that you're charging comes. So it's average, from a school. I mean, about I think about how much, 20-30% is left after post everything, depends on the month.
So
Then it
thirty
also, of course,
percent EBITDA is a good
yeah.
margin to operate. Yeah.
Yes, if it's working properly and
Hmm.
doing so, yes, that much is there. But again, see, now in this whole this thing is that India is a price sensitive country, and
Hmm.
parents negotiate and how for the fees and everything they do. Which I see, to be honest, of course, like they are also young parents in their early 30s, etc. They also have a lot of things, like, some months, some parents are very frank. They're like, this month I bought a car. So I am not, I can't, like, or I paid the EMI of my house and the car. So, like, it's very hard for me to give this much fees. So these things, like, they tell us. And then what do you say? What do you tell a person in this? ठीक है, आप भेजो बच्चे को, हम next month, we can do. So, because, so those kind of things are also there. But overall, I think if you're working fine, you're giving good quality, again it comes down to this. If child coming to your school has a smile on the face, and when the child is going back has a smile on their face, this is what the parents want, and this is what we want. If you're maintaining that, then you can
That's a big motivation.
yeah.
Having a smile on your customer, especially when it's just 5 years old.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
true.
That's our only metric. I
Okay.
think.
Well, so it feels like, you're too much into your business, of course, and being a startup founder, it's always difficult to juggle between your personal life, your social life and your professional life. So give us some tips and tricks for the startup founders. How do they, balance out their life?
See, I think the biggest difference that has come to my life since I started this and earlier when I was not was that, when you go to an office and you're working in an organization, etc., you have people around you, you have, different levels, different, you have keep having conversations, whether they're work related or they're like, in generally you're having a chit chat with the one person sitting here, one person, so you don't feel the need of that you're lacking social
Hmm.
outlets, etc. But
Hmm.
here now what happens is that you get so much into your work only that you then, and of course you're not meeting so many people on the day to day basis, like because you're a one member, you're a two member, three member team that's there. So then that becomes a challenge, and also you're so involved in your work that you start giving lesser priorities to your family engagements and all that, and all your friends, etc. So one thing what I do is that I try to maintain that morning, like 9, before like 8:39, I do, like I take out some time and I spend that with my family, like having the morning breakfast at least that you do together, so that in the whole day if you're busy you don't meet and you don't talk, so at least that's there. And
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
in the evening also have dinner together. So those kind of things, having meals and having conversations there is there. And the other thing where I sometimes also, this also happens, that I feel that there's a lack of social outlet, like I'm not, there's no new person that I'm meeting, no new nothing that's happening. So then when friends come into play, that and maybe over the weekends, like I earlier only I inform them that on Saturday evening I will be free, so if you are available, so let's go there. So it's basically planning only that comes into play and you have to consciously do it. So that's one way to go
So
about it.
generally, Saturday, Sundays is your free day when you are outside
Not the
meeting.
whole Saturday, Sunday, definitely not the whole Saturday, Sunday. In the evenings, or maybe in fact, my Saturday, Sundays, I feel are more busier because Saturday, Sundays, because are shut. So like after Saturday, if it was 3 p.m., so then I get the time to do my own thinking and my more research work and what next and all these things. So on Sundays, because my whole day I have, it's there for me, so that day though
Hmm.
I stay at home even more and do my own work even more. But like, yeah, whatever time I feel that I'll be free in these 2 hours, so I inform people earlier that if you're available, so we can meet.
Got
That's
it. Got it. Great, great. Okay, so let's talk about what's next in your business. What's your next mile in your business? How do you see, the future shaping up for your daycare market, and how would Little Cambridge step into it? What kind of market share do you predict for your future?
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, we are just opening one of our centers in Noida, right, currently, and then we also are seeing places in Greater Noida side, the lesser developed. So basically, I'm trying to move to Greater Noida and towards the Meerut side, etc., where new like offices and etc., societies are getting built. So there, we are seeing where we can open, where there is a need gap. So that's one aspect of it that we're doing. Then also looking for tie-ups with companies, etc., because I think there's this maternity benefit act that's there,
Hmm.
that each office which has more than 50 employees needs to have a tie-up with the daycare center. So we're doing a lot of tie-ups with companies and getting so that children directly, like employees, can also benefit with them. So
Hmm.
that's what
Hmm.
that we're doing. Then so this is that's there. This year probably, hopefully, we'll open one or two more centers. That's the plan.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have co-founders or you're a solopreneur completely?
No, no, I do have co-founders. One is my mother, Bhavna
Okay.
Rijoria, who she has actually taught in preschool, like schools also for a long time. Then she's worked with preschools, etc. So she gives a lot of, like she has a lot of knowledge about it, like the
Mm.
industry expertise, etc. So she is there with me. Then we also have one more person, our partner, who's very close every day. She also, both of them come from very strong, Azra Salim, they both of them come from very strong educational backgrounds. So that's there. Like I've always said that, like building something in the learning space or educational space with young kids involved needs people who come from educational backgrounds, who understand what they are doing, not just like a
True.
side business that,
Mm.
so that way, I want people who come, like each and every teacher, each and every staff member that we hire, we ensure that they've done their B.Ed, they've done their NTT, not so that, like, because you're the first person the child is interacting with outside your house. So you need people who know what they are doing.
True. True.
Yeah.
Cool. Vidushi, it's been really, really great knowing about you and how you shaped up your entire entrepreneur journey. And unfortunately, we have to come to the end of our webinar. Although I'll have to ask one last question from you. Is there any book that inspired you to become an entrepreneur? And would you recommend a book to the startup founders?
So, there's no particular book that inspired me to become a startup founder. That's like I said, that's been what I've seen women and parents around me. I just realized that this is a need, and this is something that I'm interested in, and I would like to work. But in generally, last week I was reading this book called "The Universe Has Your Back."
Hmm.
This is by Gabrielle Bernstein. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her surname
Yeah.
properly. So I was
Yeah.
just reading this last week only, and this book had done. So so as a someone, a new business owner or someone who's going to starting anything new, and especially as a founder or as a business owner, because this book is basically talks about how you have to trust yourself and how you have to trust the universe each and every day, and believe in what you're doing. So because when you're a new business owner or startup founder, every day a lot of doubts come in you, and that whether what you're doing, will you be able to go through with it, or is your vision enough, or what you're planning, is that will when will it bear the fruits, and each and every day. So this book really helped me, and in generally, that how to you have to trust yourself and how you trust the universe, that okay, believe in your vision, continue doing it every day, have a positive mindset, and things will come along. And it also talks
Yeah.
about a lot of things, that whenever you face any hardship or things when they don't go your way, it's basically that it's just a test, or it's just like a small detour from the journey, and it'll just guide you to actually the where you have to go. Because as founders or as business owners, sometimes you're so invested in your idea. Sometimes this also, like, you have a lot of belief, this also problem happens, like you have a lot of belief that I feel that this
Hmm.
will definitely work. But when it
Well,
doesn't work, you also need to know when to pivot, like you have to do, if it's not working, it's not. So that also, so so this book also talks about that there are certain things or certain people or certain things take place in your life. It's also because it was trying to teach you something or tell you something, that you this is not the way, rather this is the way. So you have to pivot also. So trust
hmm.
yourself, but also know when to change the direction. So this book, I think, this book, another friend of mine who also has her own startup only, so she only recommended me, so I read it. And yeah, so the universe
Great,
has your
great.
back.
The universe has your back. I'll definitely put that in our description for our viewers.
Yeah.
Great, Vidushi. Thank you so much for this wonderful episode, and we wish you all the luck for your business.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And what you're doing is absolutely wonderful. When we spoke for the first time, there also I told you this multiple times now also that it's a
Thank you.
great
It's an honor.
initiative.
Trust. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great initiative, especially, like I said, everyone, when you're very small, no one is talking about you, no one, there is no
True.
platform, you're also having your own journey. So, and you're giving a platform to talk about it. So, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.